Picture this. Harold is 74 years old, retired school teacher from rural Pennsylvania. Every morning he wakes up, swings his legs over the side of the bed, and just sits there. Not because he's lazy, because his legs feel like they're wrapped in concrete. His doctor told him his blood pressure was creeping up again, his arteries were stiffening with age, and that he should consider adding another pill to the 4 he already takes. Harold looked at that prescription pad and thought, there has to be another way. 3 weeks later, Harold's wife noticed something. He was moving faster in the morning. His color looked better. And when he went back for his checkup, his doctor sat back in his chair, looked at the numbers on the screen and said, "Harold, what on earth have you been doing?" Harold smiled. He pointed to a small glass jar on the kitchen counter. Inside it, tiny black seeds. Seeds that have been growing in Amish country for over 200 years. And today, I'm going to tell you exactly what those seeds are, why they work, and why so many people over 60 are quietly adding them to their morning routine, with results that are turning heads in doctors' offices across the country. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear could genuinely change how you feel every single day. Let's start with the real problem, because if you're over 60, your doctor has probably used a word around you that sounds almost casual. Stiffening. As in, your arteries are stiffening. And you nod, you pick up your prescription, and you go home. But nobody ever really explains what that means for your daily life. Here's the plain truth. When you're young, your blood vessels are like brand new garden hoses. Flexible, springy. Every time your heart pumps, they stretch a little to absorb the pressure, then bounce back. That elasticity is what keeps your blood pressure stable and your heart from working overtime. But as we age, especially after 60, those vessels start to lose that elasticity. Think of an old rubber band that's been sitting in a drawer for 20 years. You pick it up, stretch it, and instead of snapping back, it just stays stretched. Or worse, it cracks. That's essentially what's happening inside your arteries. They get rigid, hard, and your heart has to push harder to move blood through them. That's where high blood pressure comes from. That's where the tired legs come from, the brain fog, the cold hands and feet, the feeling that your body is just running on low. Now here's what most people don't know. This stiffening isn't entirely inevitable. It's not just getting old. A huge part of it is caused by something called oxidative stress and chronic low-grade inflammation. In simple terms, your body is under constant quiet attack from free radicals. And over decades, that damage accumulates in your vessel walls. The lining of your arteries, called the endothelium, gets thickened, scarred, and inflexible. The question is there something that can actually reverse that damage? Something that can restore flexibility to the vessel wall? That's where these seeds come in. The Amish have been farming a particular seed crop for generations. It's not exotic. It doesn't have a hard-to-pronounce name. You've probably seen it in a grocery store and walked right past it. It's the black seed, also called Nigella sativa or black cumin seed. In Amish and Mennonite communities, it's sometimes called the blessed seed, and it has been used as a daily health tonic for centuries. Now, before you think this is just folk medicine, hold on. Because in the last 15 years, this seed has become one of the most studied natural compounds in cardiovascular research. And what researchers are finding is genuinely remarkable. The active compound inside black seed is called thymoquinone. It's the thing that gives the seed its slightly bitter, peppery taste. And it turns out, thymoquinone is one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories and antioxidants ever identified. It directly targets the kind of oxidative stress that damages your artery walls. But here's where it gets really interesting for people over 60. A series of clinical studies, real studies, published in peer-reviewed journals, found that people who took black seed daily showed measurable reductions in arterial stiffness. Their endothelial function, that's the technical term for how well your vessel lining works, actually improved. Their blood pressure dropped. Their LDL cholesterol went down. Their HDL, the good kind, went up. One study out of Iran followed hypertensive patients for 8 weeks, just 8 weeks. And the group taking black seed extract saw their systolic blood pressure, that's the top number, drop by an average of 11 points. That's not a rounding error. That's a meaningful life-changing shift. Another study looked specifically at the anti-inflammatory effects and found that thymoquinone reduces something called IL-6 and TNF-alpha, inflammatory markers in the blood that are directly linked to arterial damage. When those go down, your vessel walls can actually begin to repair themselves. Now let me be straight with you here because I respect your time too much to oversell this. Black seed is not a miracle drug. It will not undo 50 years of poor diet overnight. It is not going to replace any medication your doctor has prescribed without your doctor's approval. Anyone who tells you to throw away your pills and replace them with seeds, walk away from that person. What black seed is a genuinely powerful, research-backed supplement that works with your body's natural repair systems. Think of it less like a drug and more like giving your body the right raw materials to fix what age and inflammation have been slowly wearing down. And the reason Harold's doctor was surprised? It wasn't that Harold stopped taking his medication. It was that his body was responding so well that his doctor needed to reevaluate the dosage. That's a very different and very important distinction. So how do you actually use it? Because this is the part most videos skip over, and I think it's the most important piece. Black seeds are incredibly affordable. You can find them online or in health food stores for about $1 per ounce, sometimes even less if you buy in bulk. That's where the $1 framing comes from. This isn't a $100 supplement. It's not locked behind a membership or a subscription. It's a seed that's been available at farmers markets and natural food stores for decades. The most traditional way the Amish and Mennonite communities use it is simply eating half a teaspoon of the raw seeds each morning. You can chew them. They have a slightly bitter, nutty flavor. Or you can swallow them whole with water. Some people mix them into yogurt or sprinkle them on warm oatmeal to make it easier. Black seed oil is another popular option. 1 teaspoon of cold-pressed black seed oil in the morning, either taken straight or mixed into a small glass of warm water with a squeeze of lemon. The oil is more concentrated, so you need less of it, but it tends to be a bit more expensive than the whole seeds. The research generally suggests that consistency over time is what matters most. Most studies see meaningful results between 4 and 12 weeks of daily use. This is not something where you take it for 3 days and expect to feel different. Think of it more like watering a plant. You don't see growth every day, but keep at it, and eventually the change is undeniable. One more thing on dosage. If you are on blood thinners, or if you take blood pressure medication already, please talk to your doctor before adding black seed to your routine. Thymoquinone does have mild blood thinning properties, and combining it with certain medications without guidance is not something you want to do on your own. Let me also talk about something that doesn't get mentioned enough. Why over 60 specifically? What makes this age group different? After 60, your body produces less of a molecule called nitric oxide. Now, nitric oxide sounds like something from a chemistry class, but it's actually one of the most important chemicals your body makes for heart health. It's what tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. Without enough of it, your vessels stay tense and narrow, your blood pressure rises, and your heart has to work harder. Here's the connection. Thymoquinone from black seed has been shown to actually stimulate nitric oxide production in the endothelial cells lining your arteries. It essentially nudges your body to start making more of what it was making less of. For people over 60, that's a big deal. That's targeting the root of the problem, not just managing the symptoms. Additionally, black seed has been shown to reduce something called AGEs, advanced glycation end products. These are compounds that form in your body from sugar and protein reactions, and they are a major driver of arterial stiffening in older adults. If you've ever been told to watch your sugar for heart health reasons, AGEs are a big part of why. Black seed helps inhibit their formation and reduce their damaging effects on vessel walls. Let's go back to Harold for a second, because I want to make this real again, not just a list of compounds and studies. Harold didn't change everything about his life. He didn't start running marathons. He didn't go on a strict diet. What he did was add one small, consistent habit. Every morning, before his coffee, he took half a teaspoon of black seeds with a glass of water. That's it. His wife started doing it too, mostly out of curiosity. 6 weeks in, Harold's morning stiffness had noticeably improved. He wasn't bounding out of bed, but that concrete legs feeling had softened. He was sleeping a bit better. His wife said her hands weren't as cold in the evenings. Small things. But anyone over 60 knows, small things add up to everything when it comes to how you feel day to day. His doctor ran blood work at the 3-month mark. His CRP, that's C-reactive protein, a marker of inflammation in the blood, had dropped. His blood pressure readings were more consistently in the healthy range. Nothing dramatic, nothing that made headlines. Just a quiet, steady improvement in the numbers that matter. His doctor's comment? Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Now I want to address something, because I know some of you watching are skeptical. And honestly, good. Skepticism is healthy. There are a lot of people online making wild claims about natural remedies, and not all of them are being straight with you. So let me be very clear about what the science actually says, and what it doesn't say. The science says black seed and its active compound thymoquinone have demonstrated anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and blood pressure-lowering effects in multiple human clinical trials. That is real, published, peer-reviewed science. The science does not say black seed cures heart disease. It does not say it will definitively prevent heart attacks or strokes. No single food or supplement can promise you that. What it does say is that reducing chronic inflammation, reducing oxidative stress, supporting nitric oxide production, and improving endothelial function are all things that genuinely contribute to better cardiovascular health over time. And black seed appears to support all of those processes. For people over 60 who are looking for safe, affordable, natural ways to support their heart health alongside, not instead of, their medical care, black seed is one of the most evidence-supported options available. And at roughly $1 an ounce, the barrier to trying it is about as low as it gets. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Your arteries aging is not entirely out of your hands. The stiffening, the inflammation, the slow loss of elasticity, these processes are real, but they are not completely irreversible. Your body has repair mechanisms that, given the right support, can still do meaningful work even at 70, 75, 80 years old. The Amish didn't have access to modern pharmacies. They didn't have a dozen medications to choose from. What they had was centuries of observation, watching what kept people healthier longer, what seeds and herbs and practices led to stronger, more resilient bodies. Black seed was one of those answers that survived because it worked. And now modern science is catching up and confirming what those communities quietly knew for generations. Half a teaspoon of seeds, $1 an ounce, and a body that just might start feeling a little more like it did 10 years ago. That's not a bad trade.